First up, let's talk about the man who is doing everything right pretty much these days, Roger Federer. He made an absolutely fantastic comeback to professional tennis. The way he's going, despite losing the Indian Wells final to Juan Martín del Potro, he is really defying age, you would say, and also defying most preconceived notions about modern day tennis. How many Grand Slams realistically do you see Federer winning before he calls it a day?
Well, I think you're the one who asked me a few years ago whether Federer should be quitting the game of tennis, and whether he should hang up his racket because he doesn't have anything left. And I remember saying that the one thing he cannot do is bet against greatness, and this is as great as they come. And in my opinion, his desire remained, and the work ethic has now matched the desire, and that's hard to do when you're this late stage in your career, the twilight of your career. And what he's been able to achieve in winning the Australian Open, and to be able to come in, and last year he won Indian Wells and Miami, and this year of course reaching the final. He's playing some of the finest tennis we've seen him play ever since he switched the gut, switched the racket and started to move forward. Ljubicic has helped him a lot with the backhand, and I think all of these has made a huge technical difference to the way he's played the game since 15 years ago.
Right, you know, they say that no record can stand forever. Every record has to be broken sometime or the other. But do you think Federer's record in men's tennis of 20 Grand Slam titles, do you think that will ever be broken?
You know, we should never say never, as we all know. You know, we thought ever since Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile that it wouldn't be broken. It was broken. The sub-10 100 never was broken. It was broken repeatedly. And eventually we thought Borg's 5 Wimbledons will never be broken. It was broken by Pete. And then we went on to Roger. So I think it happens as we go along. Yes, this 20 majors that Roger has won seems completely insurmountable, and we also said that Rod Laver's 2 great Grand Slams, the real Grand Slams, will never be broken, and to this day that still hasn't been broken.
Of course, most Roger Federer fans will say that he still has quite a few slams left to win. He still hasn't called it a day. A word now on Rafael Nadal, Mr. Amritraj, someone who's been sort of a nemesis for Federer over the years. And in certain phases of his career, Rafa's really managed to come very close to catching up with Federer as far as the Grand Slam titles count is concerned. But injuries, of course, has got in his way. What's your take on Rafa's future going by how things stand right now?
Well, I'm sure when he comes back to clay, he'll feel a lot more comfortable if he's able to play Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Madrid, and 2 or 3 of these tournaments, and he's get his feet wet again, so to speak, on the clay. When he comes into Paris, he probably is going to be the favorite again. I think, in my opinion, he still is the greatest clay court player that hasn't really been beaten at the French, as we all know, except for that one time. So when you look at the way Rafa has played on clay and compare any other clay courter to him, everyone comes second, including Federer. So I think when you look at the way he plays, Rafa, it takes a lot out of him physically, and that has got to play a role in his physical ability to go the distance as Federer has done. He's much younger than Federer, so to speak. So I think for him to come back and play, he's got to manage his schedule a bit better.
Right, I think you're absolutely right. Come French Open time, Rafa will be perhaps the hands-down favourite again, the only man to have won a single Grand Slam 10 times. A word now on Juan Martín del Potro. He, of course, ended Federer's run of 17 straight wins this season. He's someone who has sporadically shown so much promise, so much potential. The highlight, of course, being the 2009 US Open title, which he won. If not for injuries and other setbacks in his career, do you think del Potro perhaps could have been one of the modern greats?
Well, yeah, we can't say, ifs and buts, I mean, we always say, oh, well, if Open tennis had not come only in '68, they could have won so many more majors in between for Laver and Rosewall and Emerson and all of them of the previous years. So I think it's hard to say that. But the one thing del Potro has done extremely well after 4 wrist surgeries is to come back and win a Masters title like he did yesterday in Indian Wells. So he's got the work ethic to be able to match that desire for him, and he's overcome this incredible setback of 4 surgeries. So what he has done is truly remarkable.
Right, let's talk about the women's game now for a bit and talk about Serena Williams. She's, of course, back to playing professional tennis after having her first child in September last year. Now, we often talk about all-time greats in the context of just men's tennis. The women's game has also produced so many greats over the years. Now, if one forgot the gender divide in international tennis for a while and spoke about the greats overall, would Serena Williams perhaps be your all-time greatest player?
You have to put her up there very seriously. I mean, there's obviously Graf won the Golden Slam. which was quite incredible. You've got Navratilova winning more than anyone else at Wimbledon. You've got Billie Jean King winning 20 titles there. You've got a whole slew of records that are out there, and you can sit back and compare one's record with the other. But at the end of the day, Serena Williams clearly has to be up there with one of the very, very best.
Right. One final question for you this evening. One thing about modern day tennis that you really like, and one thing that you're not really a very big fan of.
What I like about modern day tennis is the Hawkeye, which has come into play as far as all the major events are concerned. I think that gets the crowd also more involved. And also what I don't like is the fact that we have so much more baseline tennis than we had in the past. And the variety in the game has been taken out. Less skill, more pace, more athletic ability, more power. More of that has come into play as opposed to the skill where the players of yesteryear used the entire court.